So, the Western States 100 starts this Saturday at 5 a.m. and I will not be running in it, but I am super excited to be in Forest Hill and in Auburn to watch the drama unfold. Now, if you read IRA and FAR, then you might have seen their prediction contest, which I entered in, and as an ultramarathon super fan of sorts, I thought I'd share my top 5 picks for the men and women at this year's Western States 100. So, here we go, starting with the women. Number 5, last year's second place finisher Amy Sproston. I think the competition is a little too steep to place her on the podium, but nonetheless, I expect her to run a characteristically smart race to snag a 5th place spot. Coming in at number 4, the speedster coming off 2 consecutive wins at one of the most prestigious 50-mile races in the country, that's the Lake Sonoma 50, I'm going to go with the Magic Squid, YIOU. Despite her success over shorter distances, she hasn't quite been able to nail down a top finish at Western States. She was 13th last year, for example, but my guess is she nails it down this time and lands herself in the top 4. On the podium for number 3, Magdalena BOULET. It was really difficult to put her in this position as she tied with Casey Lichtig at their qualifying race, the Lake Sonoma 50. I just had to look at who looked like they might have had an edge if the race came down to a sprint finish, and it looked to me like that might have been Casey. So in 3rd position, I'm going with Magda. And that brings me to my 2nd place prediction, the defending champ, Casey Lichtig. Casey ran the 4th fastest women's time ever last year with a 17:57, and it's a really tough call not to predict her as a winner again this year. And for my final women's pick, this one might ruffle a few feathers. She's either going to crush this race or crash and burn spectacularly. I'm going with Camille Herron. She's fresh off a win at Tarawera 100K and Comrades, but she hasn't had a ton of success in the mountains. She is from Oklahoma, after all. Still, something tells me this is the year for Camille, and she's going to get it right this time. Camille, I'm taking a chance here, so prove me right. Alright, on to the men. Starting off with some Europeans. I don't know a ton about this guy, but his weighty confidence and his strong 2nd place finish at the Black Canyon 100K leads me to think 5th place will go to the Swede, Elov Ollson. Ollson looks strong and I expect him to be near the front, but despite all of the taunting he does for Jim Walmsley, I think he'll finish back in 5th. Number 4, could I put 2 Swedes in a row? I did. I'm picking JONAS BUUD for 4th place. He recently finished 2nd to Jim Walmsley at the Tarawera Ultra, and while I don't think he'll finish on top, he has so much experience in the international scene, I have a hard time seeing him get beaten by too many people. Alright, I'm excited for this one. Taking the 3rd place podium spot, I'm going with everyone's favorite pancake-eating basement dweller, Mocko. Despite working in tech full-time last year, Mocko ran to a 7th place finish at States, and then straight to Applebee's. This year, he's a full-time professional athlete putting in enormous weeks in training. He says nobody's going to pass him in the last 20 miles of Western States, but regardless, he's my 3rd place pick. Number 2, Western States plays to the strength of a runner who runs smart races. The heat is intense and the race is net downhill, which leads a lot of speedy runners to fade miserably in the last 40 miles. And that's when my number 2 pick is going to fly by. For number 2, I have Alex Nichols, who's notorious for running even splits and gunning down folks in the later stages of his races. He won Black Canyon this year, and his win at Run Rabbit Run last year is proof that he has what it takes to handle the 100-mile distance. And finally, this pick isn't going to surprise anybody. It's the Coconino Cowboy, Jim Walmsley. The world watched him dominate 93% of last year's race before missing a turn and ultimately finishing in 19th place. He claims to be aiming for 14 hours flat this year, which would easily cement him as one of the greatest ultramarathoners of all time. And I think if he can stay on course this year, he'll win the race handily. So those are my picks. Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below, or in person if you see me in Forest Hill next week. I post a lot of other ultramarathon videos on this channel as well, and if you're interested in following my own ambition to win the Western States 100, then feel free to subscribe. Thanks, and good luck to everyone racing next week. I'll see you later.